nice.
Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Blur from, I believe, either 2010 or 2011. Now, this is one of the older ones. Actually a repaint and slight retool of Drift. So it's an interesting one, and since we're continuing our look at characters from the 1986 movie, this is a pretty good figure to look at. So why don't we get a closer look at this guy and see what we got.
Okay, so as I was saying, Blur here is a repaint of Drift using that nice little car mode. It works pretty well, glides very easily. It really looks nice. The light blue, dark blue, and lighter blue and white work well together. Nice kind of a gradation effect here, which I do appreciate. Yeah, everything is solid. Very sharp changes, but still, I appreciate how they go from dark blue to white in the middle. I think it was well executed. As you can see, the back, the taillights are actually painted, a feature I miss nowadays. But unfortunately, the hubcaps are not, which is a sad thing. But what can you do? I mean, headlights are done nicely. I believe they're translucent plastic. Got a little bit of the grille. And the Autobot symbol right on the front. All in all, he is done very well. And looks quite nice. So all in all, he looks quite nice. As you can see, he does have weapon storage at the bottom of the car. You can fit that big sniper rifle right in there. And the guns actually store in the door, which is pretty cool. But like I said, he is a repaint of Drift, so why don't we take a look at them together real quick. As you can see, mold-wise, they're pretty much the same except for the spoiler. Drift has a much more pronounced spoiler than Blur, which makes sense. Makes Blur a little sleeker. So I would think he'd go faster. But I do like it. I do like Blur. I like Drift, obviously, but it's not Drift's time. That'll be another day. But yeah, I mean, Blur is pretty good. For another quick comparison, since we want to get an idea about the size, here's Classic's Hot Rod. The Challenge at Cybertron version. You can see they're about the same length. You know, Hot Rod's spoiler does make him go back a little bit more, but you know, from bumper to bumper, Blur's maybe just a little bit longer. And I mean a little bit, like very much a hair. Another comparison, we'll bring in Off-Road, more modern Deluxe. As you can see, he's actually quite a bit shorter. There's quite a bit of difference between the front bumpers there, which is sad, but you know, that's the way the times are going. And lastly, bring in Strong Arm, who again is just only the slightest hair shorter. So yeah, I think Blur here goes pretty well with Strong Arm, at least in vehicle mode. But that's enough for this sweet looking car. Let's get him into robot mode and see how he looks there. Now that we got Blurr in robot mode, he's actually a little bit on the chunky side. A lot chunkier than you'd expect a speedster like him to be. This is a result of being part of the drift mold. A lot of kibble goes all around on the shoulders and the waist. Well, he's got really big, thick legs. But it still works well for the figure. I really do like this mold. And one big difference right off the bat you'll notice from Drift, he, instead of swords, he has guns, which is pretty cool. You got this big old sniper rifle, which he can hold two-handed. There's a handle on the edge of the gun here that'll allow him for stability, but you don't need to have it. He can hold it just fine otherwise. It's more for the sniper rifle motif. You also have these two small handguns, which, provided I can get it out, there we go, also look pretty good as little quick pistols, which I think works better for Blurr than the sniper rifle. That's, I believe, referring more to IDW or Dreamwave. I think it was IDW at the time of this one's release, so. But you got a couple small pistols. And what's also interesting is that the three guns can actually combine. The pistols will plug into the sniper rifle to not only form a bit of a tripod for it, but to also give you a couple more guns to shoot. So you can shoot 3 blasts on one shot, which is pretty interesting. I'm not going to try to get him in the sniper pose. It's going to take forever for me. But he does have the articulation for it, so let's give that a rundown. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so he does have a left-right swivel at the head, as well as an up and down swivel. So you can cover a lot of bases with that. There are a ton of joints on the shoulders. You've got a ball joint right there, right at the shoulder, a hinge joint and the shoulder here. So you get the option of having the shoulder pads pointing straight up if you'd like, which is interesting. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, although the wheels here and the back and the car kibble will get in the way of posing for that, and ball jointed wrists. So you got the swivels and you can do some in and out. It's pretty good. No waist joint, which is sad, but I can live with it. But you got ball jointed hips, thigh swivel, nice 90-degree bend at the knee, and the toes can move up and down and do that if you want. I don't know why, but okay. Oh yeah, and the skirt pieces or car doors are actually on ball joints as well, so you can get them out of the way as you need to. And let's get a closer look at that head though. So you can see it's a very IDW inspired head, but it does fit Blurr very well. Colors are right. Now he does have that little thing at the top, which he did have. Although he does have more fins than the G1 version. Sorry, it's hard to get the camera to stay where I want it. I think the joint on the tripod went loose. But yeah. Color-wise, you know, You got your standard blues, various shades all around. Really looks nice. Got a little bit of red and gold in the waist and knees to break it up a little bit. But the mixture of blues works so well for Blurr, and I do like that. Now, for comparisons, first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. We'll bring in the originator for the mold, Drift, who right off the bat you can tell has a sword instead of the guns, and has swords in the cardboards instead of the guns that Blurr had. I thought that it was really cool that they switched out the weapons as well as the heads. I thought that was a real nice touch. But other than that, they're pretty much the same as far as articulation and basic build. Still, I'm very happy with Blurr. Okay, so let's also bring in some of his friends, like Hot Rod here. Well, he's a bit taller than Hot Rod. I think that's actually pretty accurate. We'll bring in RC. Wheelie. And of course, gotta include Ultra Magnus. I know I'm missing Cup, but he's in the other room. Sorry guys. But you'll see him next week. But yeah. Oh, let's get everybody in frame here. But you can see everybody together. Blurr actually is a bit taller than some of the guys, but he fits in very well. And I think that height actually helps him. And I like this setup so far. I think we're getting pretty good. So, yeah. I would definitely recommend Blurr.
So yeah, this Blurr turned out pretty good. I'm very happy that I got a hold of him when I did. Uh, and I'd highly recommend hunting him down. And I wouldn't pay too much for him, deluxe. Probably, I wouldn't say more than 20 for him. So, if I, and, it's your money. You decide how much you want to pay for him. But I do recommend trying to get a hold of him just because he is a really cool figure. Yeah, he's a little bit chunkier, but hey, it's still good. Anyway, I think it's time for his little friend, because he did have a good buddy in the G1 Season 3 series. So I think it's about time we got his buddy Wheelie in the mix. So come back on Wednesday and we'll take a look at Wheelie, see how well he stacks up to the others. So please, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And I will see you Wednesday. Take care, so long, have fun, and bye-bye.